It is week number 5 in the National Football League. The Kansas City Chiefs get it done versus the Baltimore Ravens in a big way to win the game 37-20, really 37-13. And now we go face the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's talk about it on this episode of the TPT Podcast.
Welcome in, guys, to another episode of the TBT Podcast. Tyler Thigpen, Tyler, Jason Dunn. Good to have you back on the podcast. Will Shields, welcome into the podcast.
Kansas City Chiefs absolutely demolish this beat down, beat up Baltimore Ravens team. I mean, it was a massacre really from the get-go. Defense came out, and I know, and this is the thing, kind of the storyline for everyone coming out is that the Ravens were injured, didn't have a lot of their guys. That is true on the defensive side of the ball. But really how I want to start this podcast is Steve Spagnuolo and the Kansas City Chiefs defense absolutely terrorizing Lamar Jackson and this Ravens offense. I mean, the way that Steve Spagnuolo was able to just like cover zero sometimes and absolutely blitz the hell out of Lamar Jackson and him really just look flustered from the get-go is what's really impressive to me. The Ravens have a very good offense. They have one of the best offenses in the National Football League. But the way that Steve Spagnuolo just absolutely shut it down is what's impressive to me. That he was able to say, we're going to shut down this high-powered offense. I think a lot of people thought that the Ravens were going to come into this game and put up points. But it was the Kansas City Chiefs that were really able to put up points. So it's the defense for this Chiefs squad that continues to shut down these top offenses. And I think that's what you really have to look at. Don't look at, well, of course the Chiefs offense was able to score because they're playing a depleted defense and their defense isn't really good even when they have guys. That's not how I'm really looking at it. I'm really looking at it as this is a type of defense, if you can hold people to 20 to 21 points, now that the Chiefs have a guy like Worthy back, this is a Chiefs team that can put up 24 to 27 points. We can see that versus lower-end defenses, they can put up 30-plus points, almost 40 points. And I think you're going to see this trend where the Chiefs are putting up upper 25-plus points with a guy like Worthy out there, and then the transcendent play of a Tyquan Thornton, who scored a touchdown in almost every game for the Kansas City Chiefs, or have made plays in every single game so far for this Kansas City Chiefs team. So my biggest takeaway in this first game, guys, is the way that Steve Spagnuolo was able to absolutely shut down Derrick Henry, and Lamar Jackson in this game. Because that's really going to tie in to this Jacksonville Jaguars game as we get into the Jags versus Chiefs. So Jacksonville coming in to this game has played pretty well. Not the best wins we've seen from this team. You know, they've beaten Houston. They've beaten the Carolina Panthers. They ended up actually losing to the game versus the Bengals, but that was with Joe Burrow. And then they beat the 49ers as well in a close game. Kind of a weird game at the end. We saw the head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Cohen, getting into it with Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator of the 49ers, about some comments he may or may have not made before the game about them stealing signs. Is absolutely crazy. But coming to this game, we're going to look at some of the stats here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, let's take a look at the offense of this Jacksonville Jaguars team. Running the ball, they are pretty good at running this damn ball. So they're averaging rush plays. They're 43% of the time. That is 14th in the National Football League. Yards per play, they're actually 6. So 5 yards about a carry for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Rushing, they rush about 28 times. That's 8th in the National Football League. Rush yards a game, that is actually 4th in the National Football League at 144 yards per game for this Jacksonville Jaguars running backs and team. So they're running the ball pretty effectively. They average about a rushing touchdown a game. That is 10th in the National Football League. So they're able to run the ball pretty effectively with Travis Etienne and these other backs, so they can run the ball. Passing, not great at passing the ball right now. It's kind of middle of the tier as I'm looking at this. Completion percentage, 58.3. That is second to last in the National Football League at 31. Yards passed, about 5.9 per attempt. So almost 6 yards. That's 26th in the National Football League. They're passing about 36 times a game. That is 8th in the National Football League. So they're passing a lot, but not so much for an efficient rate. Interceptions at 2.7. That's 26th in the National Football League. So they're not turning it over that much. And then 2 sacks a game, really, for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think it's first in the National Football League. So yeah, they're more of a run-style team of what we've seen. So they're running the ball pretty efficiently, and then kicking-wise, they're 81% on field goals. That ranks 16th in the National Football League. So offensively, they're doing a pretty good job moving the ball. And then they're averaging, overall scoring points per game is 16th in the National Football League at 24. Yards per game, 10th in the National Football League at 348. Yards per play, 5.3. That's 18th in the National Football League. Third down conversions, 35%. That's 26th. They're not very efficient on third down. Fourth down conversion, 60%, and then they're 16th in the National Football League. Red zone scoring, they are 50%. They're 22nd in the National Football League. And then touchdowns a game at 2.5. That is also 16th in the National Football League. So they're dead center in scoring kind of in the NFL and kind of how they move the ball. If you're looking at overall scoring, how they're able to move the ball offensively, they're kind of in the middle in a lot of these categories. They bounce, from 16 to 10 all the way down to 26 in some of these categories. So they're kind of in the middle of when we see an offense, and that can really help the Chiefs. We just talked about how they're able to shut down the Baltimore Ravens, and I really think that this could be a low-scoring game if the Jags are able to kind of limit the Chiefs of the explosive plays of Worthy like they did last year, and really, again, just kind of keep stopping the running back play of the Chiefs, because the Chiefs running backs have not been good. But let's take a look at Kansas City and what they kind of did last week and how they can kind of turn that into this week. Let's take a look at the Jacksonville defense before we get into the Kansas City offense and what the Chiefs can do versus this Jags squad. So, points per game given up to their opponent is 18 points a game. That is 5th in the National Football League. So they are shutting guys down right now. I know they haven't played against the best competition. When they did play against a better offense in the Bengals with Joe Burrow, they gave up 31 points to that Bengals squad. So Jacksonville giving up 18 points a game. That is 5th in the National Football League. Yards in the National Football League, that is 15th in the National Football League at 316 yards. They have a pretty good defense. Third down, getting off the field against opponents, they are 45%. That is 29th in the National Football League. So not the best. So teams are able to kind of be almost around 50% on them, converting third down. Then we have fourth down is 40%. That's 6th in the National Football League. Then red zone scoring is 44%. That is also 5th in the National Football League. So they're doing a good job in that category. Touchdowns a game, only 2 touchdowns a game given up. That is 6th in the National Football League. And it doesn't seem like they give up too many rush yards a game at 34. That is number 2 in the National Football League. Yards per rush at 3.99. So they're really shutting down the run versus teams that like to run the ball. Obviously, Kansas City is not a team that runs the ball effectively anyways. So that shouldn't be too much of a concern. Really, you got to look at the passing defense. Their passing defense is 31st in the National Football League, which is not great. It's not great. So it seems like they give up a lot with the passing. Opponent's completion percentage is 6 at almost 60%, 59.6. Yards per pass is also 8 at 6.3. And then opponents throw the ball 39 times a game versus this team. Opponents' yards passing per game at 230. That is 24th in the National Football League. Then you have opponents' interceptions at 5 interceptions percent. That is a lot. That is number 2 in the National Football League. And then sacks percent is 4 against opponents. That is 24th in the National Football League. So passing, it does seem to go down for the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is good for the Kansas City Chiefs because, again, you have a Kansas City Chiefs squad that can pass the ball and likes to pass the ball, obviously. I mean, again, this isn't a team that is a team that can typically run the ball. So you want to obviously play against teams that aren't very good at defending the pass. So this could end up benefiting the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs last week able to ball out, really get the ball downfield. I think that's going to be the biggest thing versus this Jags defense, is getting the ball down the field again. Obviously, we were able to do it versus the Ravens. It's a little bit better defense. Actually, I should say a lot better defense in Jacksonville. This should be a good game on Monday night. What the Chiefs got to do is still be able to run the ball better. I know that's explosive plays, but let's get some explosive plays from these running backs. Patrick Mahomes still leading the Chiefs in rushing, even though the last couple of weeks he has really, I think 8 or 9 yards combined just rushing. Pacheco had a better game last game. But right now for Isaiah Pacheco, in these 4 games, 32 carries, 127 yards, 4 yards a carry. His longest run, 12 yards, 0 rushing touchdowns for Isaiah Pacheco. And then Kareem Hunt, 115 yards, 3.2 yards a carry, longest run, 11 yards. And then he has 1 rushing touchdown. Patrick Mahomes with the other 2 rushing touchdowns. Won't matter if the Kansas City Chiefs can kind of get the aerial game going. Because like we said, this Jags team shuts down the run pretty well. So if we can get Worthy involved, again, that would be big. I mean, Worthy had 38 yards rushing, and then he had 83 yards receiving in this last game. 9 targets, 5 receptions. Had a great game. Had a great game back. That is huge. The biggest guy for me has been Thornton. 3 touchdowns. He has 182 yards on the season. 10 receptions for 20 targets in these 4 games. And the Hollywood Brown, obviously, has played well too. 200 yards. And then shout out Juju Smith-Schuster for the game he had last week. And he's kind of been a reliable guy, a clutch guy in these games. I still would like to see more Noah Gray. Kelsey looked a lot better. But I would still like to see some more Noah Gray. I feel like we just have not seen a lot from him in these first couple of weeks. I would like to see more of Rashad Smith running the ball, to be honest with you. I feel like he doesn't get the ball enough. I would like to see him get the ball more because these other backs haven't got it done. But I think this is a game where if we can get it going through the air again, the Chiefs can put up 30 back-to-back weeks versus Jacksonville squad. I think it's going to be a good game on Monday night. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I think the Chiefs can get this game done. I'm going to give you guys my prediction as we go through these Sunday games here on the Sunday Picks. Here we go. It's week number 5 in the National Football League, and we have an early morning game. Get your coffee, get your breakfast. It's going to be the Vikings and the Browns in London, baby. It's going to be a good one. The Vikings are going to this game pretty beat up on the offensive line. Dylan Gabriel getting his first start in the National Football League. But give me the Vikings in this one because I think that Vikings defense is going to be all over the rookie, Dylan Gabriel. Give me the Vikings to win this one in London, baby. Moving on to the Houston Texans and the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are absolutely in desperation mode, along with Houston, who needs to kind of get it going as well. Give me the Houston Texans to actually lose this one. I think it's going to be a desperate, beat-up Baltimore Ravens team at home, and I think they win this one by a field goal in Baltimore. Then you have a 1 o'clock meeting versus the Miami Dolphins and the Carolina Panthers. Give me the Tyreek Hill-less Miami Dolphins to beat the Carolina Panthers at home. Carolina just has not been great with Bryce Young, so I think the Dolphins can get a win in Carolina. The Raiders versus the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts are absolutely hot this season with JT. That is Jonathan Taylor, and he's been able to run the ball. Give me the Colts in that game. Moving on, Jackson Dart for Spencer Rattler. This game is a 1 o'clock game on CBS. Give me the Giants to beat the Aints. The Saints have not been a great team so far this season. Put up a fight versus Buffalo last week, but give me Jackson Dart to win his first 2 games in the National Football League for the New York Giants. The Cowboys at the Jets. Give me a 1 o'clock meeting for the Cowboys in New York to win that one. And I think this one is going to be one of the better 1 o'clock games we have on Sunday. 1 o'clock game at Philadelphia. The Broncos go meet the defending Super Bowl champs, the Philadelphia Eagles. Give me the Eagles to win this one in Philly in a close game. Can they get A.J. Brown the ball more? Is this offense going to get Saquon going a little bit more versus this tough Denver defense? I think so. With A.J. Brown, they're going to try to feed him the ball a little bit more, and I think the Eagles will get this one done in a close one. A 4 o'clock meeting between the Titans and Arizona. I think the Titans continue to struggle versus the Arizona Cardinals. Give me a win for the Arizona Cardinals. And a beautiful, folks, a beautiful uniform matchup. The Bucs are going with their old 1970s uniform, home uniform for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, those white creamsicle jerseys versus the beautiful Seattle Seahawks, old 90s throwbacks. This is going to be one of the best uniform matchups in the history of the National Football League. So give me the Seattle Seahawks at home to beat a injured and beat up Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. At 4:25, Detroit at Cincinnati. Yeah, give Detroit another win. I think Cincinnati just does not have a lot with Jake Browning and the beat up to hell Joe Burrow-less Bengals. Then you have Washington at the Chargers. Jaden Daniels is back, but he will not have, looks like, his top receiver in Scary Terry McLaurin. So I think there's going to be another close one, but the Chargers are also beat up too. So give me the Washington Commanders and this one to beat the Los Angeles Chargers as they fall to 2-2 on the season. Sunday night, it's New England. It's at Buffalo. I think the New England Patriots are going to come in with a little bit of juice. Drake May has played better, but I think the Buffalo Bills will be too much. I think the Bills win this one, but this one could be on upset watch as the Saints put up a little bit of fight versus the Bills last week at home. But give me the Bills in primetime. They usually play pretty well. Then we're moving on to our Kansas City Chiefs on Monday night in Jacksonville. The Chiefs are coming into this game with an absolute blowout win versus the Ravens. I think they're going to have a little bit of juice in this one. And give me the Kansas City Chiefs 27. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars 17, as I think the Chiefs get a 10-point win in Jacksonville to move on the season at 3-2 and look for the AFC West as the Chargers fall to 2-2 and as the Chiefs fall to 3-2. This, guys, is going to get interesting as the Chiefs roll in with getting closer and closer to getting Rashid Rice back as they move on to Detroit next week.
Well, everybody, we will see you guys next time on another episode of the TPT Podcast. Let me know what you guys think of all the picks and how this game for the Kansas City Chiefs will go. We will see you guys next time on the TPT Podcast.